Here's why you'll probably never be a millionaire in your 20s. And guys, as usual, none of this is financial advice. Please speak to a pro if you need that sort of advice. And you know what we say is purely educational. Hey guys, if you're interested in building a 6 to 7 figure portfolio using the power of stock investing, head over to the comment section or the description to sign up for our free masterclass so that we share with you exactly how we do it. Alright guys, so the first thing you need to understand is this concept of net worth. You guys can Google online what net worth is, and I think most of you watching will know that net worth is simply your assets minus your liabilities. However, we have a slightly different take on what net worth actually is. Jonathan, what is it?
Right. So how we define net worth is more of like a liquid form, liquid asset. So liquid asset, it means that basically you can convert that asset into cash within 12 months or even less than that, as quick as possible. So why we say that is because I think you guys give the example of, let's say, if your friends or family got caught in a ransom, right? Or like ransom of like 30 million, got kidnapped.
Someone's asking for
30 million.
Ransom. What is that? What is the amount that you can put up for the ransom? That number is your net worth.
Yes, correct. So we're talking about cash, hardcore cash. So in this case, why you never be a millionaire by your 30, right? Is because it is pretty difficult to fathom or even imagine to have such amount of money in your even in your 20s, because you are just like getting out of society, starting work after your education. This is assuming you go through the normal route not the
standard route.
The standard route, right? But anyway, so the goal here is basically to tell you that why you cannot manage to earn 1 million ringgit in hardcore cash.
No, actually, even if you could earn 1 million ringgit, you're still not going to be a millionaire.
Yes.
Right?
Correct. Yes. This is basically a theory of what the norm people will say. Like basically those channels that very gung-ho, very fancy, they're just trying to tell you that, you know,
hustle mindset,
the hustle, the grind mindset. Yeah, correct. The one that always say that, don't worry, I was on your shoes before, and then they tell you like, he promised you all this kind of thing. So basically what their message usually entails is basically, number one, you have to work hard, and then number two is always never give up. And number three is, of course, you need to save to invest. And then they will tell you, they'll pitch you like, you know what, you have to invest in yourself first. And then investing in yourself means investing in me, basically.
It's true on a level, but you know, they have to do it to make money from you. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, correct. So that's the theory. Now, why you cannot be a millionaire? So number one is very simple. If you're not born in a wealthy family, or basically a family that has a lot of connections, right? It is actually very difficult for you to reach that status very quickly. Yeah, the key word here is quickly. It's not, you will definitely be a millionaire, but it's just the
not
time.
30 right?
Yeah, but this is 30. We are talking about 30, right? But who knows, maybe you can reach it in your 40 or 50 if you work hard, right? Yeah, and the second point is, just now I mentioned, is basically you have zero connections. So you don't have the connections with the right people. Definitely it is harder for you to actually achieve that milestone. And the third thing is, I believe most of us are actually not a very disciplined creature.
That's right.
Discipline is actually a skill that you need to learn and also to maintain it.
And the implication of people talk about discipline is, you know, things like self-control and, you know, like you need mental toughness and things like that. And the truth is, if you are not born, and we'll talk about the different economic classes in Malaysia later on. Yeah. If you're not born in T20, which is the top 20%, there is a good chance that discipline can only bring you so far.
Yes.
Because imagine if you're born in an environment where, let's say, everybody A, don't have money, and B, maybe have a negative view of money. Like, it's very hard to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were born in a household where money is seen as a, you know, at a bare minimum, a neutral thing or even a positive thing, Then, you know, when you get disciplined, you see people around you also being disciplined. Then it's a lot easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. Or to layman's term, right, for discipline, how I visualize it is basically if you're making like 30,000 per month, right? But you only spend like 3,000 for example.
Yeah, for example.
Yeah, that is as simple as that. Okay, so now I just want to show you some stats, right, on how each household group can achieve millionaire. And basically, we're going to be comparing between the B40, N40, and the T20. So this is their median income and income range. You can pause the video and just take a look at it. Okay, so we're going to be doing a few assumptions here. So let's say these three groups of people, their starting capital is zero. They didn't invest in anything. And then they use 50% of their income to invest in a certain asset class. It could be stocks or whatsoever. And then let's assume that they start working at 18. And their investing return also similarly, they are generating about 6% per annum. So basically how I get this 3K per month figure, right? Later you see is actually I just take this whole figure and then I average out. Yeah. So for B40, let's say if you're earning like around 3,000 per month, the age, if you look at this one, right, over here is the age that you actually reach to the millionaire status is when you are in at your 43, at your 40s. Yeah, so that is a pretty far-fetched number. And if let's say you're in an M40 and you're earning around 7,000 per month, it gets even earlier. So you actually, it's about 10 years or so. Yeah, so that's actually pretty decent. But if you're actually in the T20 and you're earning about 5 figures per month, it's actually basically achievable.
Yes.
Yeah, but all this is actually you can actually manage to sustain this or maybe even achieve this if you actually, number one, you make more than 10,000 per month. That is if you want to reach like millionaire by 30, right? So this is hard reality. And then the second point is that you have to start investing early.
Which most people don't.
Yeah. Yes, correct. In that case that we have pointed out for you, the example is when you start at age of 18. So not many people actually start investing at the age of 18 and learn about stock market and whatnot. And the third point is that you have to also have a 6% per annum returns consistently. So this is also something that not many people can do well as well. And the last point here is that discipline in money management. Now, how many people can actually invest 50% of their income consistently every single month for the next 5 years?
And that was your key assumption, right? Like, and if you look at the reality, let's be honest, okay? At B40, 3,000 a month. There's a difference between not everyone who earns 3,000 is B40.
Yep.
Right. If you we mentioned earlier on about family. If you come from a wealthy family and you earn 3,000 a month, if you are somewhat disciplined, you can pretty much keep most of that. Right. You get subsidized in all the other departments. So that's what I mean by discipline, right? It's a lot easier to be disciplined when you don't need to spend the 3K.
Yep. But
for a lot of people in B40, their food, transport, a lot of these things requires payment. And so your assumption of 50% savings is actually very charitable already, right? So in effect, right, they save nothing, let's be honest, which means, right, not only do they never become a millionaire, they not by 30, they just outright never become a millionaire.
Yes.
Because if you save nothing and you don't invest anything, by definition, right, you
correct.
can't be a millionaire.
Yeah, and that's why there's a hard reality.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And
in fact, even for the M40, you guys listening to this, like 33 is a phenomenal number. I mean, if you become a millionaire, even in today's standards by 33, it's rare, right? And honestly, at 7K, you're probably a millionaire when you retire. Not 33.
Yes, correct.
But guys, before we move on, if you're someone looking to level up their stock investing skills and you need a lot more guidance, we do have a one-on-one program called the Mentorship Program. If you're interested, you can apply it in the comment section or the description.
Okay, so that's the hard reality part. What about the soft reality? Okay, this is basically like a cheat code like that.
Yeah.
And it's only achievable if you have all of these criteria met. So number one is you need to be healthy. Obviously, right? Yeah, if you cannot work, then of course you have more expenses to spend on your medical health. So that's one thing. Number two is that if you're coming from a wealthy family, I mean, definitely there will be like And let's say if you got inherited a certain amount of trust fund or whatsoever. So
yeah, or
that's a plus
even
point.
something as simple as even if your dad or your mom is not wealthy enough for a trust fund, right? But maybe they have a house or two. And you know, the house when they bought it was in a normal area, but as times developed, it became big. Yeah, then these houses, I mean, you know, there are places in KL where normal terrace houses, it's like 1 million or several 100,000. So if they pass it down to you, then automatically you become a millionaire.
Yes,
in that sense.
100%. Yeah, or even inherit their business. If you have a big business, yeah.
That's right.
And the third point is your family's connection. I mean, just look at politicians.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, how easy is them to climb up the ladder and everything. You can see from there. And then the fourth thing is business. So
honestly, in terms of speed, for someone at B40 or M40 to get into T20 and beyond, the fastest way is through a business.
Yes.
And maybe not B40 to T20, but going from
B40
nothing to millionaire, I would say. Even going through like climbing up the corporate ladder, that is usually harder than if you just started a business and you succeed. Because what happens with corporate is that even though you might achieve a T20 income very fast, and many people do that, right? I mean, we saw the numbers there, 19,000 is the tier 2 of T20, right? For those who don't know, it's here.
Yeah.
Right? 19,000, right? Median income.
Yeah.
So what happens is that somehow like in corporate, when you earn more, then you start hanging out with other people who also have that income. And here's the problem, right? Here's the discipline challenge is that when they increase the income, then their expenses increase also. Yeah. So actually net, they're like saving the same amount as they did when they were earning like 4,000 or 5,000.
Yep.
Or at least the same percentage, right? So that's why business for me is like the fastest way for people to go from 0 millionaire starting at like nothing, right? Or even if you did start with something, that is, I would say, the number one way to do it.
Yep.
And of course, if you already have an inheritance and all that, that's one thing. But we also know that the famous saying, right, wealth don't last 3 generations. And if you are generation number 2 or number 3, you are at a statistical disadvantage.
Yep.
So if you're good at preserving wealth, then you can pass it on to generation 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, correct. And obviously, luck also involves in all of this, right? Yeah. Huge. So you need to be in the right place at the right time, and then you have the skills, and you already prepared everything ready for that moment to happen.
Correct.
Yeah. So
luck is huge. I mean, even if you were, let's say, B40 family and all that, but you know, let's say if you were a very pleasant guy and you were, you know, you had the right face, and then you go into a office environment where the boss somehow just likes the way you talk or whatever, and you know, then you get in, right? Then you get promoted, right? Or if you're a good looking girl, or you're a tall guy, or anything.
Yeah, or it could be lottery as well.
Exactly.
Lottery. Yeah.
So luck definitely plays a role as well.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the final takeaway.
Yeah.
Definitely hard work is necessary.
Yeah.
All of this. I mean, there is a lot of truth in it.
Okay, so with hard work, it's very important the reason you work hard is not so that you can achieve
the T20 status, right?
Actually, the reason you work hard is so that you can hone whatever skills that you have. Okay, but the second one is so that you put yourself in positions where you can get lucky, right? So if you are always, let's say, give an example, if you are always staying back at the office, and so does your boss, okay, what happens? Then you have a one-on-one chat with him almost every day, let's say, him or her. Maybe she just wants to continue chatting and that's it. Or you could develop a relationship, and that might result in future opportunities, let's say.
Correct.
So and there are a lot of other examples. So really, that's the reason why you've been conned by school to tell you that if you work hard equals good results, or work hard equals wealth. That's really, really, you know, far from the truth.
Correct.
So yeah.
Yeah. And also just want to add a little bit on hard work is basically some sort of a purpose also.
Yes.
So if you don't really have any purpose in life, right? I mean, basically your hard work is basically like you're doing it for nothing lah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And basically what is your purpose is finding out what is your big why. So it could be family or friend, or it could be helping out, I don't know, solving your problems or something like that. But yeah, definitely you need to have a purpose in life so that can give you like a source of feel, a source of like motivation.
Correct.
To keep you like working hard.
Correct. Yeah. That's why I talked earlier on about honing skills, or if I can add, doing things that are fulfilling. You need to have you need to see hard work the same way like Japanese people see hard work. It's very, very different. The way they see it is like, the work itself is the reward like that. Like, that's why they come up with like some of the craziest inventions and stuff lah, right? It's like, what results do the Japanese get by, when they clean, let's say after World Cup matches, they clean up and all that. Maybe 2 days of the media praising them.
Yeah.
Right. So that I think is very respectable in terms of hard work. You just work hard because it's good, not because I'm gonna get rich, I'm gonna earn more money.
Right.
I don't think that is. It's not gonna last also lah. Somehow, right? Life is gonna be structured in such a way where you're gonna work hard and nothing's gonna come to you. And it's almost like testing you, like
The Lord is testing me, testing my patience. Okay, the second point here, start versus finish.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
So this is very, very important. You might watch this video and think, well, then what's the point of, working so hard and thinking about money and all that? Why not just do the bare minimum, right? And actually that's fine, bare minimum is it means fine, right?
No one's stopping you actually. Yeah.
However, it's far more important to figure out where you came from and where you finish. Okay. So instead of, part of the problem is people want the T20 and they dream and imagine the T20 status, T1 status, and they see where they are, and then they realize what we just told you, right? Like connections are important, inheritance. And when I say inheritance, it's not just wealth, it's also knowledge inheritance, right? If you have a dad who's good in business, right, you're not just inheriting his money, you're inheriting a lot of the tips and tricks, right? I would say it's far more important to look at what chips you start with and how you've grown that. So case in point, for me, success is better when someone who used to be B40 earning 10,000 ringgit than someone who is T20 or T1 earning 30 or 40,000 ringgit. Because the way, the steps that the B40 guy needed to take to make that 10,000 ringgit is way harder than the guy who is T1 earning 25, 30, 40,000 ringgit. Right?
Yep.
And so you ought to, but you see, you cannot just say, I'm 10,000, he's 40,000. Right? He's starting off from a certain trampoline, right? He has a trampoline, you don't, right? So that is how you should we should all look at things, right? You cannot look at it, it's just in that absolute format.
Yeah, correct. And also I think another thing is to set small goals. I mean,
correct.
If you are dreaming to become in a T20 group, right? I mean, you cannot straight away just think of how to get there. You need to think about the process, the small little goals to take to actually achieve that T20 goal. Yeah.
And it's always a fine line, right? Because the people who have achieved like top status, it is possible that they were B40, but it's just very rare. And somehow people who want that have a certain personality type, but they also need to have the right ingredients for that to happen. And most of us don't have it.
Yeah.
So, if you're B40 and you end up dying at M40, that's one hell of an achievement.
Yeah.
And I would just add on to this, right? Part of the reason why we feel that, maybe we are behind or like we don't earn enough or that, and we want to give up, is because we are thinking purely about ourselves. Now, imagine this, right? You didn't get like certain benefits and all that, but presumably if you have children in the future, you can be the one passing on some of these, improved habits and things like that. So when you go from B40 to M40, it's not just that you've gone from 3,000 ringgit to 7,000 ringgit or 10,000 ringgit. Is that now your kids are starting out at 7,000 or 10,000 ringgit. And when you have that longer term perspective, generational perspective, then every dollar you save actually is more purposeful.
Yep, that's it. That's correct. Yeah. And actually, I read a Twitter from Mr. Jalil. Mr. Jalil is the
Rashid, right?
Rashid Jalil.
The BJ Corp.
Yeah, correct. BJ Corp one. So how he actually managed to get to a CEO position by 30, or actually I think it was 33 to be specific, right? He actually documented the whole journey on Twitter. I think I won't explain it too much, but it's a lot of hard work lah. Yeah, he just connected to a lot of people, and then he did a lot of work that is out of the what he was told to do. So he did more than what he was told. Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting events that happened also. I'll just maybe put the link to his Twitter story at the description below or comments. And yeah, with that said, before we go, here is the stock performance for our FIRL Pro portfolio in January 2023. So far, it has been doing pretty decent. I think almost like 95% of the stock is up in the greens, except for only one stock. And basically what FIRL Pro is that we provide you 2 stocks that we have high conviction on per month minimum. And
not all higher conviction. Some of it. Right?
Yes, correct. But I would say 80% lah. 80% is high lah. Yeah, and also one big picture report basically telling you where the economy is heading. This will be giving you one report every 2 months. And also you can join our private Telegram group and Facebook group. There we share with you even more stock ideas, basically what companies we are looking at and what is interesting and what is actually we think that they have potential to grow that is not inside this pro portfolio. We also will share with you guys over there. And if you're not convinced and you need more information, right, you can actually check out our free sample for FIRL Pro and also SIB program. So the FIRL free sample, the links will be in the description and comments down below. Yeah, so that's it, MJ.
Yeah, guys, thanks for, as usual, supporting us. Thanks for staying all the way until the end. Appreciate it. Let us know, right, in the comments whether you agree with some of our points of views. Always love to hear your thoughts as well. And guys, hope to see you in the next video.